a416. And I can honestly tell you that, just in my opinion, this is the most uncanny, you can even say crazy bill that at least I've ever read. That's just my opinion. Let's go through the bill itself and you tell me what you think. You can leave your comments in the description box below. So this is what the bill says, quote, upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier, or suspected case, contact, or carrier of a contagious disease that, in the opinion of the governor, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health, resulting in severe morbidity or high mortality. Now, by the way, just here for a moment, I want to that's working its way through the New York legislature that, if it actually passes, would grant permission to the New York state government to place unvaccinated individuals into indefinite detention. All right. So I actually spent some time combing through this bill myself. By the way, it's called Bill A416. And I can honestly tell you that, just in my opinion, this is the most uncanny, you can even say crazy bill that at least I've ever read. That's just my opinion. Let's go through the bill itself and you tell me what you think. You can leave your comments in the description box below. So this is what the bill says, quote, upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier, or suspected case, contact, or carrier of a contagious disease that, in the opinion of the governor, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health, resulting in severe morbidity or high mortality. Now, by the way, just here for a moment, I want to pause. So, what it's saying is that based on the opinion of the governor, if you as an individual, as a case, or if somebody you had contact with, or even if this is a scenario, if you are suspected of being a, let's say, a contagious person of some disease, it doesn't even mention COVID, of some disease, and you made contact with somebody, both of you are now subject to what comes next. So here's what comes next, quote, the governor or his or her delegee, including but not limited to the commissioner or the heads of local health departments, may order the removal and or detention of such a person or a group of such persons by issuing a single order identifying such persons either by name or by a reasonably specific description of the individuals or group being detained. Now, again, I just want to pause here for a quick moment. This is some really dystopian stuff, at least in my opinion, because based on the opinion of the governor, what they can do, he or she, whoever is the governor at the time, they can say that, hey, John Doe over there, or a group of people, like let's say unvaccinated individuals, they can be detained and sent. And this is where it says that they can be sent to, quote, such person or group of persons shall be detained in a medical facility or other appropriate facility or premises designated by the governor or his or her delegee and complying with subdivision 5 of this section. And so essentially, what this says is that if, in the opinion of the governor, you are someone who poses a health threat to the community, to the state, they can lock you away. They can lock you away. And this is what's interesting here, because the way that they worded it is purposely vague. They said that the person can be put away in a medical facility or other appropriate facility or premise. Now, what does that mean? That is not exactly clear. However, I will tell you this, that when I was reading this, I got very Executive Order 9066 vibes from this. If you know what Executive Order 9066 was, it was what President Roosevelt used to set up relocation camps for the Japanese during World War II. And in that order, if you read it, it said something along the lines of if you are a person who is deemed to be a threat to national security, you're going to be moved to an inland relocation center. So you see how the kind of language is very opaque there. It's very vague. It doesn't say exactly what it is, doesn't necessarily outline exactly who it is, and it doesn't say exactly, that it's an internment camp or a concentration camp. It's called a relocation center. And likewise with this bill, That's the kind of language that they are using. And this is the exact language that would allow the governor to issue an emergency decree and have people who are unvaccinated, because that is a group that's easily defined. So you can say people who have not received the COVID vaccine, they need to be taken and they need to be put into one of these medical facilities. And then this is what it goes on to say can be done to those people once they are in the medical facility. Quote, the bill will require an individual who has been exposed to or infected by a contagious disease to complete an appropriate prescribed course of treatment, preventative medication, or vaccination. Essentially, this would give the government the right to detain anybody they want and to forcibly vaccinate them or give them any other kind of, what was it called, prescribed course of treatment that they wish or that they believe is the right course of treatment to give to them. Now, there is something worth noting here, which is that in theory, if you go on to actually read the text of the law or the bill, I'll throw it in the description box below so you can actually do it for yourself. It does go on to say that no one shall be held for more than 60 days. But the actual language, if you go through it point by point, it says that it allows the court to issue a court order to waive the maximum detention time of 60 days. And so after 60 days, the court is allowed an additional 90 days to consider the detention of that individual, which is a cycle that can, in theory, go on indefinitely at the opinion of the health department. Furthermore, the actual text of the bill itself, it doesn't make any mention to COVID. And so in theory, it can apply to any contagious diseases such as HIV, AIDS, hepatitis, you name it, or what might ever come next. And so this bill is going to be voted on in the next legislative session, which begins on January the 5th. The actual vote date has not yet been set. However, if you would like to read the text of this bill, again, it's called a416. I'll throw a link to the PDF version of it into the description box below this video for you to check out. And now let's head on back to the studio. If you'd like to read more about these new booster requirements that are popping up across the entire
All right, that was from Epoch Times. If you all are interested, go over there and check your channel out for their links and things like that. They got some pretty good stuff. That is a true bill. That is a real bill, and it is very open-ended. If someone just farts wrong, someone reports it to the governor or her cronies, who she deems fit to be in her circle to make the decision, they can put a person indefinitely in a medical facility. So y'all should really check this out and be fearful of it. Ohio and Chicago is trying to do something similar, and you'll see it catch on in Democrat states. Because it's coming. It's coming. Been trying, FDSS. Been trying. So be fearful of this. It could be coming to a state near you very soon. We all know there was a whole bunch of FEMA camps opened up, and nothing being done with them yet. Keywords yet. Now you see what they're for. There's things like that. So I thought you all should have a heads up to see what's going on. And we know New York likes to set trends in Democratic states. So I agree, FDSS. This whole bill is a violation of human rights. So, yep, Mama Bubble, it might be. Oh, the razor wire was very much a clue. Or do you not remember me talking about that and being called a dumbass and a liar and a moron about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, when they were talking about? You're welcome, Mama Bubbles. When they were talking about that, when I was showing that being done in New York City, and they were buying up whole city squares that's one block, then the next block, then another block, make it a square out of it, getting city blocks. And then they took all the beds out of the buildings. They took all the beds out of the buildings, or all the furniture out of the buildings, and put bunk beds in the buildings, and then called it a shot center. Um, and then they put razor wire around the whole thing and chain link fence around the whole thing. Made it look like it was a jail. So that's what we're looking at here, people, and it's coming. But for right now, I'm out. I thought I'd bring that to you and let you see it firsthand, not just hear it from me. I'm out.